Welcome to Story Explorers. This week, our book is all about plants. So I've picked, it's actually my favourite spot in all of Kettles Yard because there's lots of plants arranged in a window. Why don't you settle down in your favourite spot at home, perhaps in your book nook? Pick up your book and join in with me. This book is called The Extraordinary Gardener. And it's about a little boy called Joe who has an extraordinary imagination. He lives somewhere quite grey and gloomy, but he uses his imagination and his wild ideas to bring all sorts of colour and life. Perhaps you can open the pages and follow along with me, the story of Joe. Joe was a boy with a wild imagination. It took him far away to a world less ordinary, a place very different from the world outside. But in Joe's world, plants grew taller than skyscrapers, and animals unlike any other roamed the streets and soared through the sky. Can you see we've got birds soaring through the sky? We've got all sorts of amazing creatures from Joe's imagination. Every day, Joe longed for his world to come to life. Then, one night, while he was reading his favourite book, an idea began to grow. It was full of beauty, colour, scent and song. And it all started with something very small. The next morning, Joe went in search of the one little thing that would bring his idea to life. He looked in all the usual places and the not so usual. Finally, he found what he was looking for. Can you see? What's that? It's an apple, isn't it? An apple that someone's eaten. And in his hand, what's that? It's a seed. It's a little tiny apple seed. Wasting no time, Joe collected all his tools together and carefully planted the tiny seed. Then he fed it and watered it and quietly waited and waited and waited some more. But nothing happened. Nothing changed. Eventually, Joe stopped waiting. He forgot all about his seed and went back to what he knew best, imagining. But something was happening. The seed had begun to grow. It grew and grew and grew. Then, one ordinary day, while Joe was busy daydreaming, something colourful caught his eye. He stepped outside and discovered that where he had planted the tiny seed now stood the most beautiful tree. Joe got to work at once. He learned to preen and prune, dig and sow. Every day he brought home new seeds. He started to grow all sorts of things. Before long, the single tree had become a tiny garden that grew bigger and bigger and bigger. Look at that. Can you see how rich and multicoloured that's become? One by one, Joe's neighbours came to visit his beautiful garden. When Joe saw his new friends so happy, he had another idea. Joe decided to share his garden with people throughout the city. Can you see? He's taking his neighbours a plant. And slowly, over time, with the help of that first tiny seed, Joe's world grew from ordinary to extraordinary. Look how bright Joe's world has become, and look how big and bright everyone's world has become. Well, that's the end of Joe's story, but it's not the end of our story. In your packs, you'll find your own seeds to plant your own fantastical worlds just from your own windowsill. I'd love to see how you get on, so please do post pictures in the WhatsApp group and share everything that you get up to. And hopefully I'll even see you at the Story Explorer sessions that are coming up soon. In the meantime, it's goodbye from me and over to you.